أما دلوقتي فهو حوار، حنلتقي بحوار مع السيد ديفيد رانز المستشار السياسي للسفارة الأمريكية. اتكلم فيه عن المنافسة بين المرشحين، من فيهم متفوق عن الآخر، وسياسة الرئيس الجديد تجاه الشرق الأوسط، ومدى تأثر شعبية كليهما بعد إعصار ساندي، والمناظرات الإعلامية وموضوعات أخرى. هذا الحوار سوف نلتقي به الآن، ثم فاصل، ثم نبدأ أولى فقرتنا العلاقات المصرية الإسرائيلية بعد الانتخابات الأمريكية.
Well, thank you very much, Iman, for this opportunity to talk about our elections. The polls are very close. They're as close as any presidential election that I remember in my lifetime. So what I can give you are some statistics, but they are only statistics. They're not predictions. There is a very well-known analyst who works for the New York Times named Nate Silver, who has a blog where he goes through all the polls, all the state polls, and all the national polls. It's important to underscore that American elections at the presidential level are decided at the state level and not at the national level. So the national polls can sometimes be deceiving, and they can show a closer race than the reality of the situation. As of last night, an average of all the national polls showed that Barack Obama was leading by about 1.3 percentage points, which is very close. But if you look at the state-by-state polls, and if you look at the analysis of the state-by-state polls, the statistical chance is much higher for President Obama to win re-election than for Governor Romney. Nate Silver, when he looks at all of the state-by-state polls, right now he's giving the probability of Barack Obama winning a second term at about 85%, and Governor Romney at about 15%. Right now, within the Electoral College, he predicts that Obama will win about 300 Electoral College votes, and you need 271 to win. But that's still just a probability. The polls are very close, and it's still very much anybody's race at this point. It's very difficult to know, honestly, how presidential debates affect any presidential election. In the case of the challenger, it is oftentimes the first chance for many Americans to see that person on the national stage. And so it may be their first impression of that candidate. Of course, with the president, he's well known. He participated in debates in the past, and he's been our president for nearly 4 years. So that's less of a change for him. There was an impression that the first debate was a good performance for Governor Romney, and then the second and third were more even. The polls generally showed a slight advantage for President Obama in those two polls, but the degree to which those debates directly impact the elections, they're only one of many factors, and it's difficult to disaggregate that impact from all the other things that are going on. Well, right now, as has been the case for the last couple of years, I think most of the issues that Americans are worried about are local and economic. Although unemployment has come down in the U.S., it is still historically very high. There are lots of concerns about access to education, access to basic services, healthcare. So I think, as is always true, there's a saying in American politics, but it applies everywhere, that all politics is local. And when it comes down to it, people, even when they're voting for president, what they're really thinking about are their local circumstances. And a lot of people are very concerned about their personal finances, their family, their children's education, and those have been issues that have played very prominent roles in the election.